creepiest thing you found while house sitting? I was working late on a Friday when my coworker Alice cornered me by the coffee machine. She slipped me an envelope with $500 cash and whispered, "I need you to house sit this weekend, but you can't go in my basement." Alice was the type of person who brought homemade cookies to work every Monday and never asked anyone for anything, but here she was clutching my wrist with both hands while her whole body trembled. She told me that her sister was in the hospital after a car accident and she needed to drive 6 hours to get there tonight, but her regular house sitter wasn't available. Her voice kept breaking, and she kept looking at the break room door like she expected someone to walk in and stop her. "You can stay in my guest room and eat anything you want. You can even use my Netflix, but please just stay out of the basement," she begged. I thought she was joking at first, but the look in her eyes told me she was dead serious. "The basement has a separate lock, and I'm going to take that key with me, so even if you wanted to go down there, you couldn't," she said, trying to force a smile that made her look even more terrified. "Just please ignore any noises you might hear." Before I could ask any reasonable questions like why her basement was off limits or what kind of sounds I might hear, she was already rushing toward the parking lot. Saturday morning, I went to Alice's house, which turned out to be one of those fancy new builds with the modern kitchen and huge windows that I could never afford. The first few hours were actually pretty chill, and I started thinking this was the easiest money I had ever made. But around midnight, I heard this rhythmic thumping coming from the basement like someone was dragging something heavy across concrete. I turned the TV up louder and reminded myself that $500 was worth one creepy night, but then I heard what sounded like muffled crying. Every few minutes, I heard footsteps pacing from one end of the basement to the other, sometimes stopping right below where I was sitting. I grabbed a kitchen knife and crept toward the basement door, which was definitely still locked from the outside, but I could hear breathing on the other side like someone was standing right against the door listening to me. Around 3 in the morning, I heard this soft humming that went on for 20 minutes straight without stopping for breath. The noises continued on and off all night, sometimes sounding like furniture being moved, sometimes like whispered conversations where I could only hear one voice. I didn't sleep at all that night and kept every light in the house on while clutching that kitchen knife. The next morning, the basement door was open about 3 inches, even though it had been locked the night before. My hands were shaking as I pushed it wider. The wooden stairs creaked under my weight, and I kept thinking about turning back, but I had to know what had been making those sounds. The basement looked normal at first, with boxes labeled things like baby clothes and Christmas decorations, but then I noticed one section of the wall that looked different from the rest. When I pushed on it, the whole panel swung open to reveal a secret room that took my breath away. The walls were covered floor to ceiling with hundreds of photographs of me going back 8 months. Me at the grocery store, me walking to my car after work, me through my apartment window making dinner, me at the gym on the treadmill, and even me sleeping taken from outside my bedroom window. There were notebooks filled with my daily schedule and details about my life that even my closest friends didn't know. One notebook had a page that said, "Getting her to house sit this weekend. It's the perfect opportunity," circled multiple times in red ink. And on the desk sat a receipt from a spy camera company dated Friday morning. I grabbed as many photos as I could carry as evidence and ran upstairs, already dialing 911 while sprinting to my car. The police arrested Alice an hour later outside of my house. It turns out she just wanted me out of my house for the weekend so she could install hidden cameras to watch me. But hey, I gotta keep the $500.